What's going on, awesome people? And it's December 8th. Welcome to another Instagram live series. It is the Awesome People Instagram live series where I decided to make a little public pledge 2 weeks ago to have 31 IG lives with the most awesome Persian entrepreneurs, artists, creators, badass people that I could think of from all around the world in the 31 days of December. And it's been an incredible first 7 days with some awesome people. And tonight is just another one of those great guests that I'm really looking forward to speaking more in detail about. But before I get to my guest, who's going to be Navid Rezvani, let me just kind of tell you about what we really do here at Awesome People and the umbrella brand of Unite and Conquer. In short, we're on a mission to unite English-speaking Persians from all around the world through live streams, through live events, and through pretty much conversations like this. So we have the Awesome People podcast, and we're doing these IG live series. We have a live Persian music live stream called Zendegi, which is all Persian music featuring our DJs. And we're trying to do more and more live events as COVID opens up or closes up, depending how you look at it. But either way, this today is number 8 of 31. And before I start every single one of these IG lives, I've started to do this 10 seconds of gratitude. And actually my guest today, Navid, is also very, very big on gratitude, which I'll let him talk about. But basically for 10 seconds, I just want to take some time from our crazy day and just kind of reset and just appreciate the basic things in life that we have to be grateful for. And if you want to take a moment to do that, then let's join together. And for 10 seconds, just count your blessings. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. That 10 seconds, I hope that it revitalized you as well. It's amazing how counting your blessings, even just a few handful things, can reset your day and put you on a much better path. So speaking of grateful, I'm extremely grateful for Navid Rezvani joining us today. And I want to jump right into it because you're going to see how this man is full of passion, full of love, full of unity, full of kindness. And that's the kind of people that I want to continue having in our Unite and Conquer community. So without any further ado, let's bring this superstar of a human being on. Navi is going to be joining us from Oslo.
What's going on, my brother Iman?
Navi Jun, durud bar shoma aziz.
درود بر شما برادر خوب من. How are you doing, my bro?
Khoda ra shukr, man. Thank you so much for joining me on a Wednesday evening in Oslo, Norway, right?
A cold, dark Wednesday evening in Oslo, Norway.
You know, I'm in Miami right now. Perhaps you should take a little overnight trip and enjoy some sunshine, you know?
I'll be right there, bro.
Awesome. The Persian red carpet is laid out for you anytime, man.
That's what I'm talking about. Aladdin from here to the States, baby.
Navid, man, the reason why I have you on this conversation series is not even so much about the fact that you're an incredibly talented dancer. I feel like there's a lot of talented dancers, and you're for sure at the top of that list of talent. But I think what most people have been gravitating towards you is your soul, is your heart, is your personality, is your character, it's like a much deeper mission behind what you do. I mean, you do some incredible storytelling via your choreography and your dancing. But for those that haven't had the pleasure of getting to know you and your craft, can you, in your own words, give a little bio of Navid Rezvani?
Thank you so much for all these warm words, man. They all sit on my heart, and it warms me deep inside. Well, let me start by saying, as an Iranian born, سلام و درود به همه دوستان عزیزی که ما رو تماشا میکنن و ما رو دنبال میکنن. Hello to all my Iranians worldwide, wherever you are on this planet. What a joy it is to be able to be with you guys right now. Iman Jan, I gotta say to you first as well here that for me, one of the most precious gifts that I'm blessed with is time on earth. And I know that a lot of people who value their time, they understand what a precious gift it is. And you are putting of your time to set light on Iranians all over the world. And I appreciate that. And for that, I appreciate you, because you make us all shine, and that gives us hope and it inspires. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, bro. So to answer your question now, Imanjan, my journey goes back to Tehran, and as a 4-year-old with my little brother, mom and dad. My dad was a diplomat, pre-revolution diplomat, and he was one of the very few that stayed in the foreign affairs after the revolution happened. And his goal and his mission was to serve the people of Iran, no matter what the politics was, no matter what, he had that in his heart, and that's what he was aiming for doing, and that's what I observed him do throughout his whole career as a diplomat. Many give me a hard time the second I say my father was a diplomat, because the ones who live outside Iran, well, many of them might not have a good relation to the politics today, but I can guarantee, and I'm proud that my father served his people the best way that he could. Dad is a graduate of political science in Michigan, Detroit. So he is a man that has seen the world and has grown up to also understand the Western values, even though, of course, he was working with the system in order to serve. But that helped a lot in our family, and our family are educated people open to the world. So that being an intro, my dad gets his first mission to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And we get to travel with him to Malaysia, a different part of the world. I don't speak the language. I'm a child, no friends, and I'm used to, relatives being like hugging you, kissing you, this and that, and going to a part of the world where you don't know nobody, And so I'm flipping channels at home as a kid, and the first character I see is this incredible Bruce Lee, and the way he moves, the way he does the things that he does. And already right there, it catches me, and I want to have that in me. I want to be able to do things that nobody else could do, and that's where it all starts, Imanjan. That's where the movement kicks in. And
you were how old? You were how old here?
I was around 5 years old when I was in Malaysia, bro. Okay. I was around 5, and I was going to kindergarten and this and that, and preschool, and coming home to all Bruce Lee movies. We would go to grocery stores, and there were VHS of Bruce Lee movies. And, Southeast Asia, people were mad in love with Bruce Lee. He had the six-pack, and he was like, Whoa! And
he was not human. Sorry to cut you off, but I still see YouTube videos of him like nunchucking with ping pong, and I'm still thinking that has to be fake. I cannot imagine that being real. But even if that is fake, he's done such incredible unhuman like things, which is really it's incredible to show the extent that the body and the mind can go when it's determined to do something, which you know very well. But carry on. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. And this, Bruce Lee, with his philosophy of life, man. I mean, I was too young of a kid to understand that, but Iranians being so strong in martial arts and all type of it, it was a part of our blood, like we say in Iran. Martial arts, taekwondo, karate, kung fu, wushu, and so Bruce Lee was something that I knew about in Iran as a child, and going out to Malaysia, and so my dad saw that I'm all crazy about this guy, and he puts me on taekwondo classes. So I'm like punching putting the pillows and all that stuff together at home and punching, making like punching bags out of it, and it all starts from there for me. And after a while, flipping channels again, I see this dude, Spider-Man, and the most incredible thing about Spider-Man was, unlike Superman, that was a god. Superman was a god. He was pain-proof, bulletproof. Spider-Man was this nerdy teenager with girl problems, and he was always broke, right? He was always broke, and he couldn't do stuff, and I love that, because he was so human. So when he gets bit by a spider, he feels this power, and he starts crawling, and he falls, and I love that, because I always fell. I wasn't good at any of these things, so I always fell. But seeing somebody fall and stand up and do it again till he learned, that's what inspired me so much to be upside down. And mom and dad will come home, and they will find me upside down, and my books on the corner there, and all my hands on my head. And by that time, we were already in my dad's next mission, that was in Philippines. So left Malaysia to a new country, again, leaving all my friends behind and all that. And so Spider-Man got me flipping and turning and jumping and crawling. And then, bro, here comes this one. This one was Michael Jackson. Now, everybody in Philippines wanted to be like Michael Jackson. You know, I'm telling you, like girls, when Michael came out to Manila, Philippines, girls would go bananas for him. Like they were faint, like they did back in the days for Justin Bieber. You know, they were, oh my God, it's
Yeah.
Justin. So they would faint and they would love him so much. And I'm like, what is so special about this guy? And I would see this guy spin and turn. And I was like, oh my gosh, music. And that's when music started kicking in because of Michael. And of course, I had the past history of all the Iranian parties with Shahram Shah Perez music, Andy, oh my gosh, Andy, Ebby, all these pop stars. So when Michael kicked in as well, I was like, okay, I recognize this, the music, the feeling, the dancing. But the problem was Dad being a diplomat and the whole story, bringing Michael Jackson in there was a really tough one. So that's where I could tell you some of the hardest barriers and challenges in my life started. I remember I was in the embassy. I'm not going to get into too much of politics, but stories are truth and stories must be told. I remember I was in a school in the embassy because we had these schooling so that we could learn how to speak Farsi and have the Iranian culture in us, even though we were outside the country, right? And I was so inspired by Michael Jackson, but he was such a Western thing, so we couldn't talk about it so much in the Iranian embassy world. So I wrote Michael Jackson on the table because he was like so cool. I wanted his name on my table. And bro, I get slapped by the teacher so hard. I mean, I get slapped so hard that you cannot have people like this in blah, blah, blah. And I'm this kid, and I'm like, what have I done wrong, this guy? And so I could tell you a hard chapter in my life started as I started falling in love with a character called Michael Jackson, with his dance, with his songs, with his music, with the way he was. So I had to kind of put it away because it wasn't flowing right with the world that my dad lived in, and we had to follow rules, and that's just how it was. I closed the book, but I had it in my heart, and I carried it with me. So that's Imanjan, since you asked about the dance and the movements and all that, that's the story of where all these heroes inspired me and set a seed inside my soul of what will come later on to me, which would be the most beautiful, beautiful joy that I carry till today.
So when was that plant actually in growth mode? So you planted the seeds. How many years was the hiatus? And then tell me about the spring of this flower.
So, as I told you, we had to follow and respect the rules of how the system was that my dad worked for. So after my dad's mission was done, excuse me, in the Philippines, we traveled back to Iran because diplomats usually go back home to base to wait to get their new mission. And that's when I'm already like around 15 years old. And in Tehran, there's Park Millat, the main big park where people go and hang out. And back then, it was the spot on Fridays where you would go have in the morning kalle pache, and then you would go and hang out with dudes and you would just try to hook up, hang out with girls and all that. It was like the place to be.
Wait, I'm
So
saying, so when
yeah.
was this? Give us a little bit of an
So
era time frame.
this is when we're back from the Philippines, and I'm already around 14, 15 years old now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's some good time after Philippines, and I get to see these dudes standing on their hands. I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks like what Spider-Man used to do. And I see these other dudes spinning on their feet and turning. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a little bit of Michael Jackson there. And I see these other guys on the other side training martial arts. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Bruce Lee right there. So all my superheroes were all there, the way they moved. And so I started hanging out, and I didn't have the Farsi so well in because I grew up in all these different countries. And so I had this English accent, and they made fun of me all the time. But I got to hang out with them, and I got to go to different parties with them afterwards. And these guys had home parties where they were dancing. They were dancing to techno music, but they were doing breaking and hip hop. They didn't know what exactly it was, but they've just seen it in VHS videos, and they were dancing, but it was all to techno, like crazy techno. I'm
And
telling you.
this is Tehran?
This is in Tehran. Yeah.
Okay.
Home parties in Tehran, bro. Like I'm telling you, home parties. And and they would invite girls and this and that, but everything was so restricted, you know, and it was really tough and difficult. But once we had the chance to party, we would not say no to that, you know. Even if we had to run from the cops when they came up there, we partied. And in these parties, it was, if you could dance, it was a way to impress the girls, you know, just like it is so many other parts of the world. It was a way for you to shine. It was a way for you to show how cool you were, and I wanted to learn that. And so since I had a little background in martial arts, my body knew how to be a bit upside down. I started doing all these moves. No rhythm, no soul, just tricks, pure tricks, because that's what the dance was. Trying to stand on your hands or doing a split or all that. And we did a lot of these things. And so some time goes by. And
by the way,
yeah.
sorry to cut you off, but is this breakdancing? Because I know you've been using the word b-boy a lot.
Yeah.
Is there a distinguishment between breakdancing and b-boy, or is that just abbreviation for breakdancing?
So when breaking happened in the Bronx in New York, it came out as boyoing, breaking, and b-boying. But when the commercial scene came to take it in, they thought, how are we going to say this to the media? And nobody's going to understand breaking. So this woman that was an English manager for some of these breakers said, okay, we're going to call it break dancing. And they called it break dancing, and that's the name that kind of flew into the media. The breakers hated it because they're like, ain't nobody in the Bronx says break dancing. We say break, you know, b-boying, you know. So we try to stay away from the name break. We try to call it breaking and b-boying, but not break dancing. But I mean, it's a term in the media today. Yeah, so that's kind of how it is. And yeah, so in the middle of all that, now I'm around 18 years old. Dad comes home and says that we got a new mission to a new part of the world, Europe this time. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And he's like, Norway. I'm like, Norway? What the heck is Norway? Where the heck is that? and we open up this booklet, and it's like, oh my gosh, the first page, these beautiful girls. I mean, beautiful blonde girls. I'm like, oh heck yeah, I'm going there. And it looked just wonderful, like winter wonderland, I could tell you, right?
Year-round winter wonderland.
I'm telling you, man, it's cold, bro. No, we got some nice sunny days as well, so don't get me wrong. Yeah.
And so this is like what, the year 1999, 2000?
So now it's around 2000, yeah. Now it's around 2017, 18 years old, and we come out to Norway. Now, I'm this rebellious kid. And I'm like, I want my life in my own hands. I don't want to follow nobody's rules no more. I want to do whatever I want to do. But still, you know, I'm engraved in my head with my relatives. You're going to be a doctor. You're going to be an engineer. You're going to be this. You're going to be a scientist. And in my head, I'm like, I want to be Michael Jackson, you know. And and it was tough, bro, because they gave me a really hard time. And if they wouldn't give me a hard time, they would give my parents a hard time, so that my parents would give me a hard time. They're like, oh my gosh, he can't do this stuff. He was going to be a disgrace to the whole family. Everybody's educated. What is he going to do? And blah, 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 blah. And so once I get to Norway, I'm like, in Norway, everybody talking about independence. Like 17, 18 years old, you move out in Norway, you live on your own. I'm like, whoa, for real? I could make up my own rules, my own way of life. And it inspired me, bro. And slowly, I snuck out and I started becoming my own man. And I found the first youth house where they did the break-in and hip-hop. And I'm like, oh, home sweet home. And
you found your community.
I found my people, and that's right, bro. I found it, you know. And the good part that my dad, as long as I did my studies and as long as I finished high school and got good grades, he would allow me to do this stuff. But you know, I couldn't like make such a big deal about it because of the system, right? So so that I'm very thankful for. Even though he was hard on me, he still allowed me to find my way as long as I studied. But once my dad's mission was over, they had to leave. I said, I'm not going nowhere. I'm staying in Norway. I'm not following you guys anymore. I'm done with that life of traveling, going from one country to another. I just made my friends. I've earned money here doing dancing, and I'm going to stay back. It was really tough because it was like a sudden breakup for my whole family. And I was not used to that. I was used to having them always around. But it was a choice that I made, and it has very much to do with the fact that Norway taught me that I could be my own person, that I could stand up for myself, that I could be anything that I want in my life. And Iran didn't give me that.
Freedom.
Yeah, there we go. And that is the first sense of the word freedom that I understood. Now, I'm not telling you that in Iran they put me in prison, no, but I'm telling you that you don't know what freedom means until it's taken away from you. And once I noticed that I can do anything I want, say anything I want, think the way I want to, then I understood what freedom really means. And that is what Norway offered to me. And I did not want to let go of that. There was no chance I would let go of that. So I've been here for 20 to 21 years now. And I talk about gratitude because I am so thankful to be a Norwegian citizen today. And I know that a lot of Iranians or a lot of Middle Easterns today will give their lives to have a moment of what we have in some of these countries that are so free. So I'm thankful. I have strong gratitude. Every day morning I wake up, I drink my coffee, I'm like, thank you for today. But with that thank you comes a great responsibility. And that responsibility of knowing that every time I go to Tehran, they tell me, Khosh bahalet, you're lucky. It hurts me, but it gives me a sense, like, the hawk when he turns green and he grows, I feel like I want to do something. I feel like I'm going to do something. And that gratitude comes with that feeling of strength, that great power, great responsibility. So I use my dance to uplift and set light on the people of my birthland as I use it to show gratitude to Norway.
So, I mean, through your dancing, you've gone as far as, let's see here, on the TV show, So You Think You Could Dance, the Norwegian one, you went up to like the finalists, the second place in Norway's Got Talent. You ended up actually reaching a whole set of heights by winning the Persia's Got Talent in 2020. Are you still able to go to Iran? Like, do you ever have any concerns that now that you actually are well known and it's dance, it's music? I mean, you talk about, yeah, I mean, do you have any concerns? I'll just leave it as that.
Well, a very good question, Iman. I gotta admit, even though I have not done nothing wrong, I always go to Iran with a sense of fear. I go with a sense of fear, that knowing that what if, and I don't know why, but I feel guilty every time I get to the airport. I have not done nothing wrong, and there's this sense that I have done something wrong, and it scares me. But it scares me even more not to be able to go to Iran, because I am more valuable to Iran being among the Iranian people. I can do more for them being close to them, just by being in the hip hop scene, taking all these stories and all this knowledge and sharing it and dancing it with the hip hop scene of Iran today, that through sport is growing bigger and bigger. So of course I could stand out here and say a lot of things that they would totally block me from going, but I don't want to do that, because I'm in love with my land, just like a lot of us are, and most of us are, all of us are. But I want to still have that opportunity to be close to my people and to give up myself to them face to face, because some of us don't have the opportunity, and some of us who do, we should do whatever we can with it. Some might disagree with me, and that's how it is. Yeah.
So when I think of Navid Rezvani, I see a Hamvatan that has a deep passion and love for Iran and being Iranian. And then there's a deep love and respect and gratitude for being a Norwegian citizen and being grateful to what you just said, the freedom. First, tell me, this love that you have for Iran, do you think it's more because you're not living in Iran? Or, do you think that's part of it, is the fact that I love being Norwegian, but I hate the fact that I'm not in my motherland, and so that's how you connect and you speak so passionately about it?
Iman Jan, Malcolm X once said, in life, if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Right? And I look at the people of Iran, and I think, what is it that brought me to Norway? It was my father's job. My father was a diplomat. His work was to serve the people of my birthland. And I am privileged to be in Norway because of my father's work. My father's work came from the people of Iran. That means I am a servant, and I am going to fight for the people of my country, because it was through my father's job that I am here. So I owe my freedom and my life and my privilege and my smiles and my passion to my land, and I have to serve my country. If not, then I have taken something away that is so valuable from them, an opportunity, and I did nothing with it. And that is going to hurt them more. At least they will see me here, they will say "Khosh be halet," but they will say also, he's doing something with what he's given. And that is where it means the most to me, because it would hurt me. You know, a lot of Iranians, what they tell me, Iman, Navid, now that you're in Norway, forget about those guys in Iran, man. Come on, live your life, achieve everything you want to. Iman Jan, there are so many sponsors that don't want to sponsor me because I speak about Iran. Because they're like, you cannot get our products, you cannot get sponsorship from us, because Iran is on a heavy list. And a lot of opportunities are taken away from me. People think like I'm living here and I'm doing everything I want. Yes, I am. But just because I fight for my country, I'm also been taken away a lot of opportunities. But I do it with joy. I do it with joy because I know that it means something to the people of my birthland. And as long as I have that impact, I'm going to keep on doing this for them.
So speaking of impact, you know, what is the true impact? What is the legacy you want to leave behind? What is like what gets you up every single day? And like, you know, what is a message that you want to tell other people who are, you know, I mean, let's be real, as positive as you are, you're a human being, which means that you have days that are very hard to get through, you know, but yet you fight through it through positivity, through gratitude and all that good stuff. What type of message do you have for the rest of the world to kind of make sure that they are seizing the moment the way that you seize the moment? Because you live life more than 99% of people that I know, you know, and that's what I respect and admire. And that's why you're contagious, which is why I want to make sure I spread you to the rest of the world instead of coronavirus, you know? So what message do you have?
Okay, I got to show you this. So I got a tattoo here of Muhammad Ali.
خیلی sexy شده. This is becoming X-rated. No, I'm
a
kidding.
man's
No,
got to do what a man's got to do, bro.
So what did it say? I'm sorry.
So it says Muhammad Ali, the boxer, Cassius Clay. And Ali once said, "May great be the battle of life." The battle of life, the battle between you and yourself. You accomplish that battle, you accomplish life. And I look around me, bro, I have gone through so much different hell that I could write books about. But you know what? Every time I fall, I remind myself that I can stand up. The story of fall down 7 times and stand up 8. I've gone through multiple surgeries, my shoulders, my knee, people telling me that I'll never be able to dance again, doctors, surgeons, and come back, winning competitions, earning so much love from people all over the world through dancing. And I'm telling you, man, you follow what voice is in your heart. You follow what you deeply desire. You're going to find not happiness only for yourself, but you're going to decrease misery in the world. That is the magic word. Not running around, what makes me more happy, but running around for what can I do to decrease misery instead of increasing happiness. Because decreasing misery in the world is what is going to bring you that self-respect that I made a difference. So I wake up every day and I tell myself, what can I do with my dance to make a difference, to make somebody else's life better and impact them, so that I could feel like, oh my gosh, I did something with this time that I have been given on earth.
Beautiful. What is next on your bucket list as far as your professional career? Like, what are you hoping to do? Where do you want to perform? What's a stage that you've been like yearning to go on? You know, like career-wise, I know that somebody like you that is so disciplined, that is so purpose-filled, that you're already envisioning 5-10 years what's really your destiny, you know? What is it, if you don't mind sharing it with us?
I follow politics very closely because it's naive to me to say that I don't like politics when politics is ruling the world. So I try to see what it is that the world leaders are saying in order to make sense of what is happening around us. Now, there's this deep, long history of Iran and America. I want to be able to make an impact on the American people about my birthland in Iran. So I want to have the opportunity to stand on an American stage as an artist to a wide American audience and tell the United States of America about the great Persia that I know, the great Persia that stands for tolerance, that stands for respect, that stands for love and passion, colors that inspired Alexander the Great. That is the opportunity that I want to have, to tell the American people about a birthland that has so much in common with the beautiful people of America.
I agree. And I mean, at the end of the day, we are the ones with the first Declaration of Human Rights, you know, and that is the root of our motherland. And that's a beautiful message. So basically, the apple didn't fall far from the tree with your father being a diplomat. You're becoming a diplomat of the world, essentially, you know, bringing together multiple countries, not just Iran and America, but obviously Norway and Europe, man. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, kudos to your father that was such a true patriot that it trickled down through his son, you know? That's incredible. God bless him.
Thank you so much.
So tell me something else. What if there's another Navid right now that is 10, 15 years old and he has the similar superheroes that he sees? You know, it might be the modern day versions of the Spider-Mans and the Batmans and different type of artists. What is the advice that you can give them, you know, now that you have these years under your belt, but they need this motivation and inspirational message? What do you tell them?
You know, a lot of the young kids, when they talk about following passion, following what makes them makes their blood cook, they think that the journey is going to be a lot easier and they're going to skip going to school and waking up early in the morning and this and that. What I want to tell them is choosing what you want for yourself is going to be much harder, because then you're going to feel alone. You're going to feel like nobody believes in you. You're going to feel like they're going to want to do their best to prove you wrong. And you have to use all of that, all the negative energy that comes to you as fuel. You have to wake up and you feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. But you got to fuel yourself with all the negativity so that you could be your own psychologist. You could work with yourself and be like, you know what, instead of digging my own grave, instead of pulling myself down, I'm going to lift myself up with all the negative energy, because negativity itself is so much energy, and it's energy that could mess you up. But if you flip it and transform it and transform that energy into something positive, it will be like wings that comes out of your back, and it's going to hug around you, and you're going to feel like you're not alone. I was in Palestine in a refugee camp. And these kids in Palestine, in that refugee camp, Balata, have been facing a lot of terrible negative stuff that, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I could handle all that. But once they saw something that give them joy, they transferred all that negative energy into something that was so beautiful and positive. Whether it was drawing, whether it was playing music that foreigners would come to Palestine and help them with, I saw the transformation from this angry kid into this kid with these smiles, and I saw the power there. So what I'm telling you guys is, whoever does not believe in you, whoever says it's not possible, whatever you feel anxiety, use all this into a force that lifts you up and pushes you forward closer and closer to your dream. Because once it was Spider-Man for me, but one day it's going to be you that is going to continue inspiring me and other people like me as well. So keep moving forward, brother and sister.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's super motivational, inspirational. And I know that in general, you want to continue to impact the world and do more speaking. You know, when I saw you post some videos of you speaking, you know, I want to make sure that anybody here that has an organization or somewhere where they think that Navid would be a great person to be a guest, either in person or through virtual streams, that they reach out to you, Navid, because I feel like you need to be on stages all over the world, not just for performing as a dancer, but performing as an orator and being able to share your story and motivate and inspire. Which, by the way, if they need to contact you, can you let everybody know your website, or tell me how they can connect with you and continue to support your mission?
For sure. I gotta admit that I'm a big fan of social media because it's a free platform in a world where everything costs money, in a world where you gotta pay for everything. You've been given a platform for free to speak to the world. So use it, enjoy it, and be smart with it, and don't let nobody discourage you from what you're putting, this and that. Just be you. And I'm using my social media, so I'm on my Instagram @Navid_Rezvani, or you could find me also on my website www.iamnavid.com. And I'm around, man. I'm around because I'm here to serve. So just hit me up.
You're serving, all right, man. So there, because you have so much love for Iran, I wanted to end this segment with kind of asking you about your favorite things about X, Y, and Z. So I'm going to go down the list, and you tell me the first thing that comes to mind. So the favorite things about Iran: city,
Save,
food,
خورشت بادمجون،
beverage.
آب انار.
Oh, havas kardam, dude. I probably wouldn't know these because I never had the distinguished honor of living in our homeland. But favorite game?
I mean, favorite game, Atal Matal Tutule.
I actually know that one. All right, I know that one. You gave me one that I actually know. Favorite singer of all time?
I gotta say Ebi, man, and the love that he has shown me. I am eternal grateful to this brother.
Yeah, well, then before I continue the next question, how was that experience with Persia's Got Talent? And now that you have Ebi on that list, that must have been even like the cherry on top for that incredible experience.
Oh my gosh, Persia's Got Talent was a dream come true from the second I walked into the auditions. From the people behind the scene, from the beautiful host Faizan and
Tara,
of course, the beautiful two hosts of ours, and our awesome judges, Mahnaz Afshar, Nazani Noor, Arash, and Ebi. They were all so wonderful, and they made me feel so at home. And for the first time, I walked on a stage with just Iranians on the audition. Before, of course, Corona hit us on the semis and the finals, but usually I walk on stage and I got this confidence, but I gotta be honest with you. The second I saw that Iranian audience, tears just gathered all over my eyes. It's like all these dreams that I've had of serving my people, they were all in front of me in Scandinavia, and I just felt like I was shaking, and it doesn't happen so often, that much nerves. And I walk inside, and I gotta tell you, man, a journey started of adventure that, oh man, it was Disney, bro. It was Disney. It was tough. It was tough because I didn't know what I'm gonna go through, but I loved every minute of it. Yeah.
I mean, and if anybody hasn't seen the video of, there was the one song about Iran that was just, I think it was semifinal performance. Was that the final performance?
The finals, that's right.
Oh, it was the final. Okay. Yeah. I mean, you guys need to basically, Navid Rezvani, Persia's Got Talent, finals. I mean, you had everybody like with their jaws dropped, their souls just, it was incredible. That was beautiful. So you guys should go enjoy that.
Let me just say one more thing. Add one more thing to that. It was even more exciting because I am so blessed to have a beautiful Norwegian girlfriend in my life.
Kat, yes.
Catherine, that's right. And we're having a baby together on the 9th of
Congratulations.
February. A little baby boy.
Yeah,
my gosh. So my love for Norway and the feeling of Iranian Norwegian is going to come true as well with our little baby boy.
That is
half
beautiful.
Iranian, half Norwegian. And what was beautiful about the finals of Persia Got Talent was I had my girl. She's a professional dancer, graduated as from the Norwegian Ballet High School and jazz line. Nice. And
I mean, she performed with you in at least one of the.
We performed over half of the finals together in a story that is very strong to me about my birthland, Iran, of course. And it's so awesome because she's been to Iran with me and she loves the Iranian people. They've shown her so much love, and she talks so much nice about the Iranians to her Norwegian friends, which helps build bridges, and it's so important to me as well. So yeah, that was even more exciting to have her dance for a whole nation of Iran with me.
Well, there's one thing that you said when, first of all, very respectfully, you invited her on to come on stage, and then I think it was behind the scenes with Tara. What I
Mm.
love that you said, that I hope that every Iranian who's living outside of Iran listens and implements into their life, is that how important it is for you to also adapt and appreciate the culture of the country that you're going
Yes.
into. You know, like some people, Iranians, they go to different countries, and I understand where it comes from because they want to have a sense of belonging, so they stick to their own people. But like, you have to acclimate to that. First of all, it's a privilege to get to know another culture, another language, their food, their drinks. You know, it's something
Oh
that you
my
should,
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
something that you should want to embrace. You know, and so like, here you are as an Iranian going to Oslo and Norway, and you have embraced that country. And guess what happens when you embrace another country? The country embraces you. You know, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
really what you did. And I saw, I think it was a 2001 or 2011 when you performed in the Norway like Got Talent, and even in
Yeah.
that performance, you represented Iran so well too. You know, and they appreciated that. The Norwegian judges, they appreciated that. You know, they saw the love and passion you have for your homeland, but yet also respected you as a fellow, you know, Norwegian. So that I think is an important thing for any Iranian that's living outside of Iran,
I
to
agree.
go and get lost in your city, in your country, and get to know the cats of the world. You know, they might become the future wife and mother of your children. You know, so
That's so
it's
true.
it's great.
Imanjan, just to add a little to that as well, that you're saying, you know,
Sure.
when I came out to Norway, I gotta admit it wasn't easy in the start because we have such different cultures, and Norwegians are you know, Iranians, they're all like, welcome, hi, how are you, the very first minute. But in
Gatherman,
Norway,
yeah.
yeah, they're so warm and all. But in Norway, in the start, it's a little bit of the opposite because they don't know you, and you have to earn their trust, and it takes time. But once you do that, and once they see that you're taking all these beautiful values that Norway has for you, and you're working hard to help Norway evolve, to help Norway go to the next level, and to work and serve the society, Norwegians become the biggest supporters. I mean, this country has blessed me so much, and I owe so much of it. And you know what? Often politicians in Norway, they say that once you're in Norway, you got to forget where you came from. But you know, because they see that I do my very best from the heart for Norway as well, those politicians and those culture people are helping me fight for my country, are helping me set light on Iran. And a few days ago, the Iranian girls were playing a handball tournament versus the Norwegian national team, the Iranian national team, and
I saw
Norwegian
you
national
post
team.
about that. Yeah.
My gosh, in Norway, it came on the papers. There was such a powerful moment of these superstars of Norwegian girl handball players where they had tears in their eyes seeing what the prize of the match of the day went to an Iranian girl. Even though they lost the match, the Iranian girl gets the prize of the best player, and the Norwegians are clapping for them. And it was such a beautiful moment to show together we're stronger.
That's amazing. I appreciate you adding that story. So one thing, and please
Yeah.
feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is
Mm.
not, isn't Norway known as one of the safest countries in the world too, or like one of the best places to live in as far as like different type of criteria? Is that, am I mistaken?
No, no, you're totally right. You know, democracy and of course a very wealthy country. I mean, even in this heavy COVID situation, we've been being able to get Social Security support that basically goes on the average of the income that we had the year before.
Hmm.
So I mean, even in the hardest times, we're privileged, and that already says how lucky we are. We're a small country of around 5 and something million people, with a lot of natural resources, and that's why we need to do our best to be good representatives of this privilege.
Man, I mean, you're a good representative of humanity, man.
Oh,
And
you
I
my
can tell
brother.
you
Thank you
that
so much.
I know your family is proud of you. I know Michael
I'm
Jackson's proud
honored.
of you. I know Spider-Man is proud of you. I know Batman is proud of you. Muhammad Ali, man, keep on flying like a butterfly and sting
My
like a
brother.
bee.
That's what's up.
I really admire you, and you are truly one of the reasons why I'm really enjoying what I'm doing here with the Awesome People series, with the Awesome People podcast, because it is truly a privilege to know that there's so many awesome Persians around. And I just want to be able to make as much time to have as many conversations like game changers like you, man, like people that are
I'm honored.
trailblazing and really making a positive impact on the world, man. So God bless you. Keep on staying
Thank you
healthy.
so
And
much, my brother.
I can't wait to see pictures of your baby boy and send my best to
Oh,
Kat.
yeah.
And دیگه
Okay.
مواظب خودت باش و انشالله که
Yes,
به
sir.
روز برسیم که از نزدیک همدیگه رو ببینیم یه
I look
بغلی
forward to
بکنیم so
that.
I can feel that six pack in person. Be like, damn, my boy's got a six pack.
I look very forward to
yeah,
that.
yeah. Anyways, خلاص مواظب خودت باش. God bless. And thank you to all of Navid's fans who dropped in at today's IG live too. مواظب خودت باش Navid Jan. Take care.
Love to all of you guys, and thank you for following. Thank you so much, Iman Jan. We talk soon together.
My pleasure. And for everybody else still sticking on, I want to take a moment. Please click on the link in my bio if you want to join our podcast. If you want to join the Unite and Conquer community, it would be an honor to be a part of, to have you part of our community. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, so please click to join. And God bless everybody. Have a wonderful day. Be safe. And tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, it is Fred Parvaneh, the creator of Inspiring Iranians, Kehan Life. It's going to be a great, great, great day tomorrow. So take care. Navid Jan, Khodafez. Norway, goodbye. Iran,
That's
goodbye.
what's up. Peace out, brother.
Much love. Take care.
Much love.